Hello, I'll wait till I hit the 1 minute mark. Hello, welcome to Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham. I always say it and I say it every single time. I am excited to be here. Um, I am totally excited to be here, especially since we are on, everybody is on summer vacation unless they are doing summer school. I don't know. Summer school probably will start next week. So I am, again, just want to talk about some strategies and some wisdom, some insights, give all that good stuff to you guys, to you people, to you educators, and those who will tune in today. We are committed to creating a vibrant and supportive community for educators, especially those in the foundation of faith. At the same time, the principles that we talk about, they could be used anywhere. They could be used in any business. They could be used in any faith. It doesn't matter if you have faith, if you don't have a faith. But just if you go back in history and look at certain principles, like I hear people always talking about different laws. The law of reciprocity, the law of sowing and reaping. So those things are laws because no matter who operates in them, you're going to reap what you sow. So that is just something when you're using these principles. This is where it comes from. So, and then when you're a teacher, if you operate educator of any sort, you operate under different communities in different environments. There are still laws. If you again, you reap what you sow. If you sow into your students, you're going to reap a benefit, going to reap a reward. Students are going to accomplish the goal. Things are going to happen. You can't just keep teaching somebody and they don't get it. So you figure out, well, what do I need to in order for these students to get what I'm trying to give out? That's just what it is. So let me see. Okay. So I just want to be able to see a little better. So again, thank you for joining me. I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing the things that I'm doing. So we're going to have to work on some of that stuff. Yeah, we're going to have to work on some of that stuff. So thank you. So today I want to talk about, I've been going through a training with, it's a training, but it's sort of more like, what is it called? I've been going through a training. It's called More in 24. So it is talking about, he talked about habits, and we're talking about the habits that we build to get and work on to get the results that we are trying to achieve. So if you are a runner per se, I don't know what that says, teacher. If you are a runner per se, just say you're a runner and there's certain habits that you have to form. You could, I'm not even going to mess with that. You could, if you run, you have to exercise. You should eat right. You should work out, stretch, all these different things, habits that you have to practice in order to get the results you're trying to get. So just say you're a runner and you're eating anything that you want to eat. A friend of mine, he did a Instagram post where he was talking about he was running and he was so tired because he ate prior. So now he's understanding why people were so exhausted because they were running after they've eaten, which is, it's not conducive to running if you eat. I know some people eat to build up their car, to build up that strength, to have that reserve energy, but that's a different kind of runner. Maybe, I don't know how it works. Maybe, I don't know. But he said he was exhausted because, our body burns energy, while we're running. And so after we eat, our body tries to work that off. So anyhow, different things that we work on, different practice, different habits. So just say if you want to be a great teacher, if you want to be a great teacher, there are different habits that we need, different habits that we need to work on, different habits that we need to practice in order for us to, in order, okay, in order for us to achieve our goals. We want to, sorry, apologize for that. We want to be great teachers. Great teacher is incapacitated. It is made up of different things. Being a great teacher is not just being the perfect lesson planner. It's not just being the perfect when you're being evaluated, you know how to follow all the rules of the evaluation. You have to engage the students. You have to have turn and talks. You have to use technology. It's not even just about that. It's more about a community that you build, community within your classroom, habits that you form so that you'll be used to doing what you want to do, so that you will not only be used to doing it, so that it'll be automatic responses. So when I walk in the classroom, it's automatically this is what I'm doing. When I wake up in the morning, automatically this is what I do because I built these habits. That's just what it is. So a habit that we can have first is our personal habits. You are the teacher, no matter what. You are that educator. You are the person who is educating the students. You are the person who's in a relationship with your administration, with your peers, with that school, with the parents. You are that person. So if you don't work on you, I promise you that great educator won't be great. You may be a good educator without even working on your personal development. You may just, like I said, things are automatic. You may automatically do certain things, without even having that personal development, because we all seen it. We all seen teachers who are not so personable. We all have people who are in our lives who are not personable, but they're excellent at their job, But if you want to be great, we want to be better. We want to do things differently. So one of the things that we can do is get rest. I was at a workshop a few months back, and the person was talking about sleep. And she was saying how if you don't get enough sleep, it's like a drunk person. You're operating a vehicle not at full capacity, with you're not all there. It's just like being drunk. That's what she likened it to. And we do know that there are benefits to getting sufficient rest. There are benefits to getting an impact on energy levels and focus. We may not have, if we don't get enough sleep, it's hard to focus. And if we're not focused, it's hard to teach. It's hard to be that person. People could be talking to you and you're just in a daze because you're not getting it. You're working on trying to stay focused, and it's hard because you're not all there. You're trying to wake up. And it has an impact on our energy levels. So there are benefits to starting the day early. I know also rising early, starting the day early, it helps me because then I can have a routine. If I get up early, I don't like getting up early. I get up early because I have things to do. So if you get up early because you have things to do, then you're able to do it instead of rushing off in the morning. Just say you have to be to work at 8:40, right? Like me, I'm just giving my time, 8:40. So that means I need to leave. I need to leave my house at 7 because I have to stop and get my granddaughter, pick her up, take her to school so she could be on time. So I have to leave my house at 7:10 at the latest. So I'm not rushing. So if I get up early, then I'm not rushing. And I don't know about you. If I'm rushing, I forget things. I have forgot my glasses. I have forgotten my phone. I have forgotten my lunch. because I'm rushing, or because I have something else extra to do that is interrupting in my time. So if I'm rushing, it's just not a good start of the day. Then you're frustrated, right? So when you're frustrated, it's just not the place to be. So if I get up early, then I can start on my routine. I can work on the first thing I do is open my app where it has the Bible scripture for the day. Work on that. Right now for the next I'm gonna say 21 days. It's not 21 days anymore, but I'm at 7 o'clock since it's school. I'm in this little group. It's not a little group, it's a large group, but the group um we're working on building ourselves, our stamina, our habits, our what it is that we need to do to be great at what meeting our goals, what we're trying to do, how we're going to meet our goals. There's things that we have to put in place. And so there's a preacher involved, and he's giving us scriptures every single time, and we're going through that. So there's a routine that I have in place. And then I do a little bit of uh stretching, muscle building, just a little bit. I'm just not even going to pretend. But every day I work on some things, some core things. Actually, it is my core because it helps me stand up straighter. It helps pull in some things that I want pulled in. So I have these habits that I every day that I do. And then I might write on something that I did. So I start early. I get enough rest. I'm working on that get enough rest part because I'm haven't been. So I go to bed late. So I'm trying to, even this week, start trying to go to bed earlier. And I know people say, I hate that word try, just do it. So just do it. Go to bed early at a specific time. You know how much sleep you need. So work on that. And then I get up, no matter what time I go to bed, I get up the same time. So I get up and then I have these routines. Those routines are in place. They help set my day. They help set my tone in order for me to be a better person, to be a better teacher. It just works. I don't care what job you have. You have a routine in the morning that helps you be a better person. You get up early where you're not rushing off, because I see people in the morning. I don't know about you. You see these people zooming through traffic. I promise you they didn't get up on time. Zooming through traffic. They're late. They're thinking, oh, let me get there. I need to get there. I'm late. I'm running late. So they're zooming through. And then the way I go to work, when we have accidents on this route 1 on this highway, these accidents are major accidents, and I promise these people either they're not paying attention or they're in a hurry, because you can watch the people zooming through. Then you say, oh, this is it, or you see them getting pulled over because they're rushing. So this will be a better start to your day, so you don't feel rushed. Feeling rushed, it's hard to get that back, get that calm back, because if you get up on time, you have that calm. So another habit is planning ahead. When you're planning ahead, like lesson planning, setting goals and objectives, and managing classroom activities. I want myself, and this is something I learned. You're going to learn over the time. We think sometimes we have to do lesson plans because the principal said we have to show what we're going to do. But why? What is that? What is that for? That is for you. I don't care. You say this is lesson plan because they want it. This we're going to do. It doesn't matter because I'm using the teacher's manual anyway. But lesson planning helps you because once you look over the plans that you have, once you put them together, you can plan for every minute. When I don't plan for every minute, you can tell. I can tell. Maybe you can't tell because I know how to wing it and try to, maneuver through it. But I can tell because the students can tell. They're like, what are we going to do right now? Just wait a minute. I got to get it together. Let me see. Let me go back and read this. If you lesson plan early, I sometimes we have now this cut and paste stuff. We just cut the lesson plans, paste them over here for our principals to check it off and say we turned in our lesson plans. But actually read it. Say, okay, is this going to work for me? Is this going to work for my class? Plan it. I promise you your day will go better and smoother if you know what you're going to do. I have to give account for every minute. So just say I'm going from writing to math. Just say I'm working in writing, I'm working in a small group. And then the alarm goes off and says, okay, it's time for math. But I've been working in a small group. No, I have to give a time. I have to give an account for that time because it takes me time to set up my computer for math, get to the front of the class, hook everything up because I hook it up on like the TV, the big TV screen, do all that. Then what are the students doing during that time? You have to plan for that. So that's the perfect time for me to give a break. Okay, now you have a brain break class. So you have 5 minutes, 6 minutes for that brain break. That way, while I'm walking up to the front, I'm hooking up everything that I need to hook up because I have the computer with me probably. And then I have to hook it up. So I have that time. I account for that. And just say there's something else I need for the students to work on. Or in math, I needed to hurry up and wind down. This is the amount of time you're going to have to work on that class assignment. This is the amount of time you're going to have to work on that do now or that exit ticket. And you just have to account for all of that time. And then it won't be chaos. The students are, what am I supposed to be doing? Why are you not sitting down? What should I be doing? Because it causes problems if there's no organization. So you have to plan for that. Plan for any activity. I don't care what the activity, set the goals for objective. Then another thing, when you're planning, make sure you know your objective for that day. You just say, my students are going to be able, I always use this example. I don't know why. I'll change it. How about the students always have, the students' objective is the students will be able to add or subtract using a measurement, using inches. And they need to know if I have 7 inches of a ribbon and I need 25 in all, how many more inches of ribbon do I need? Right? So, hi Irene, how are you? And so that's my objective. So when I'm planning for that, what am I going to need? I'm going to make sure I have some ribbon, make sure I have some rulers or some tape measures, make sure I have what I need for that lesson plan. Because I have done this. Oh my goodness. We had this math where we had to, for this lesson, they had to cut out these, even though we had tape measures, but to start of the introduction of inches, we had to cut these tape measures out of our book, right? Another one, we had to cut these place value discs out of the book. I didn't plan for that. Because I didn't plan for that, that was a whole math set block because it took time. Second graders cutting out place value discs, that's going to take some time. Cutting out tape measures, that's going to take some time. Or this year, I had to make sure I had the tape measures out, make sure I had a place value disc, make sure I had the straws, whatever it is. You plan for that. You look at your lessons and objectives, make sure you have everything you need, because if you get to the class, it's going to be chaos because you're trying to gather information and they're like, Mrs. Branham, Miss whoever, what are we doing? Just give me a second because I have to get this material out. It doesn't work. It frustrates you. It causes the students to be in disarray. It doesn't work. Another thing we talk about as habit is using technology. Now, I don't know what lesson you have that you don't use technology. I mean, we use our whiteboards, we use our TV, we have the big TV, smart TVs where the students come and solve a problem, which is like a whiteboard, but it's the TV. We do that. So the students come up. It just makes things easier. It causes the students to be more engaged. And that's just a habit. You have to have that habit every day. I know I'm going to need technology. What am I going to use it for? How am I going to use this technology? I know I have to have extra materials for hands-on. That's another thing about classroom management. When we have this classroom management down, there's some things that we talk about in classroom management. We think it's all about getting the students to be following our directions, getting the students to do what it is that we want them to do. No, classroom management has to do with the students being engaged as well. You want the students engaged. You want the students to be going with the flow and understanding what's happening and be excited about being in the classroom. So having that classroom management, I was watching another guy. Matter of fact, his name is Darrell Williams Jr. He's going to be on here in 2 weeks. So I was watching what he does, and I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking about having get attention grabber to get the students in line and ready to learn. And mine is class. So I say to my students, class, and they say yes. I know that sounds like a mommy dearest type thing. It really is not, because when I say that, then they say yes. I get their attention and they sit in the ready position. Ready position is sitting in at their desk, hands on their desk, not in their desk playing, ready, looking at me to get what it is I have next for them. So I might say class. They say yes, yes. I might say class. They say yes. Just because I do it like that, so it'll get their attention. They understand this is what we do when the teacher wants our attention, and they follow along. So that's a part of class management, and I like how Daryl says that, because there are teachers that say, and I heard teachers say it, I'm waiting. No. So once you see the students are ready, you say, I like how you're sitting there listening. I don't know what you say to high school students. You like, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being ready. Because students like their name being called. I don't care how old they are. So that is a part of a habit that we need to build, is attention getter. How are we going to get the students' attention, right? And another thing is that is a part of fostering a classroom environment. We want our classroom environment to be that the students are ready to learn. And another part of another habit we need to work on is encouraging teamwork. And that is something it takes a little bit of time, but it really doesn't. If you start off this way in the year, I know that school is out, summertime, just something to keep in our mind that we need to do. We need to go to bed on time. We need to get up early. We need to plan. We need to set goals and objectives. We need to incorporate technology, because we want to enhance our learning experience. I know one thing I just read when I was actually studying for this, where we want to enhance our learning experience, and I was trying to figure out, because of we have this literacy program where it's more teacher led, it's more teacher everything. It doesn't give you a chance for it doesn't give you many small group activities. So you have to come up with your own small group activities. You might give some worksheets or something for the students. So one thing I saw for literacy that I read, and I'm going to incorporate it when I go back, is when I'm working on teamwork, because teamwork is something I do all the time, but this is one particular way, is just say you're reading a story. Say you read a little bit of the story. Then when you want to assign the rest of the story to the students, you assign partners or a group. You read this half and you read this half, and then you come together and you tell this person, your team member, your peer, what this half of the story was about. And then you tell that person what this, and then you come together and discuss it and see if it makes sense. You have a whole story by the time you get done, so that you could talk about it. And then it builds the understanding of that story. And then it'll be easier for them to take away the story. And it's just collaboration and building teamwork. So that is something, that's just a little something I just learned that works. So, and another thing, I keep looking down. When you're working on a habit that we have, and we always have it, is that differentiation, right? We have different methods. How do we differentiate? So, for instance, again, I teach second grade, which is easy for me to talk about. And we have students in second grade who can read, who cannot read, who only know sounds of letters. Some don't even know sounds of letters. And then you have some students who are ready for the next grade already. So what kind of habits can you as a teacher come up with to make sure the whole class, for the whole group, is involved in that phonics lesson? Because you have phonics every morning, 20 minutes of phonics. That might be going over sounds. That might be giving dictation, where they write sentences, write words, write sounds, all that. So how does that work for a student? So one way is giving them the sounds and let them give it back to you. You dictate a sound and they give you the letter. You dictate Letter, they write down the sound. You dictate words, or not even words, it could be nonsense words, whatever, more than one syllable if you want. And then you dictate sentences. So that will cover everybody. That will cover every person in your class. Dictate the sentences. Some of them write so fast and they're like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't know where my students got that thumbs up. I guess they got it from their last teacher or something, but they're done. And then other students are taking their time writing these sentences. So everybody is involved. And then that's just something you have to keep in mind. And then I talked about that small group. So once you have the large group, you teach to that grade level, everybody, because everybody has to teach to that grade level, but then you have to individualize. So me personally, after that phonics and the individual more so comes with the small group. I'll meet with 3 groups maybe a day, and I work with those groups individually on their level. And when you do that, each person feels valued. They feel success. They get success, and that's what you want. You want to build a habit of giving students a place in the classroom where they have success. If we think about that alone, that habit right there, making sure everybody feels success every single day, that habit alone will change the atmosphere of your classroom if you have an issue, or it will build upon the atmosphere of your classroom. So I just know that those are a few things. I have a few more. Let me see. Where am I here? Also, we could talk about building a habit of communication skills. And I'm just not just talking about communication skills between you and your classroom, or you and your students, or your students building up their communication skills, because you want the students to have active listening, but at the same time you have to build up we have to build up active listening, because I know I have had students say things to me even at home. That's a habit we need to practice no matter where we are. Even at home, somebody was talking to me. I was talking to my daughter. She was telling me something. I don't know what she was talking about. Simply because simply because I was reading. And I couldn't even really hear. Wait, what did you say? What did you say? I didn't know what she said. So I had to stop what I was doing to actively listen. That means listening. I saw a person the other day on it's not TikTok. I never don't watch TikTok, but it was on YouTube or short or something, or Facebook, where there was this child. A person was talking to the child, and the child was listening actively. And then they say, yeah, and then they would comment after the person finished talking. So that's something that we could work on no matter what. That's a personal objective. That's a personal habit that we could build, and then it will flow into our classroom, right? That's just something. That's just something. So, I like that. Irene says she has early finishers bin. I do too, but it's not a bin. I need to build some bins. I have the work. This last year was working because I had a desk where I had put the papers, because I really didn't have that much shelf space. So that works. You have a bin with worksheets where they could choose a destined bin, or just for whatever they get to choose. That worked for me. And I remember last school year, not this past one, but a year ago, where I put all these activities on the board. And so you went from activity to activity. Sometimes I let them choose where they went, but they had to do all of the activities. Then I put extra, of course, because, some people will finish it, some people wouldn't, or they followed their group. Group 1 did this, and then now you move in 10 minutes, and group 2 does that, and then you move and move. So that works when you have that extra. That way, when you're transitioning, the students have something to do. I appreciate that, Irene. That really that really works. And so, yeah. So, let me see. How do I get rid of that? Okay. So also, communicating, have active listening. You actually talk to your students about this active listening. You model active listening, and then make sure your goal, your directions are clear and effective instructions, right? You give clear and effective instructions. That's a habit, because there are times when I didn't read through, and then I would tell the students, I would skim through it, and so I'll give the students an assignment, and then they're like, what? I don't know, what do I do? And then I go back and read again, and I'm like, oh no, that wasn't even it. I don't know, because I didn't plan. And then I try to just skim through it, and this is what I think we're supposed to do. So make sure that goes back to that planning. And then when you give the instructions, make sure it's clear and effective. You say, when you finish reading this story, you're going to outline it with the title, the author, the plot, the characters, the setting, whatever it is that you need. If there's a problem, or if it's nonfiction, you make sure you outline, this is what you're going to do. You're going to have 3 facts, and then you're going to give me 3 details about those facts. Whatever it is that you're trying to communicate, make sure it's precise. Okay, you're going to do all the odd problems. I know that's how high schoolers do it, or all the even, whatever the answers are not in the back. Do these problems, then you're going to do your exit ticket. You're going to do the work online, whatever it is. Make sure it's clear, so they won't come to you and say, I didn't know we had to do that. So make sure it's clear. That is a habit. That's a habit. Making sure your lessons are clear each and every time. And another communication, another skill for communication. This is like, we have to communicate with our students. We have to communicate, I say, with ourselves, no matter what you say, with ourselves. We have to communicate with ourselves, making sure we are understanding what it is we are trying to provide for the students. You have to communicate with the parents. Man, when I say communicate, we have to communicate with our administration. So imagine talking to a parent, and I'm going to give you a real example. A parent is saying to you, you know, the child is not reading on level. They're reading 2, 3 great levels behind. The parent is like, and I'm a 2nd grade teacher, so imagine that, what that child is reading. The parent's like, my child is always reading. My child is reading. And then you have to be able to communicate. You have to be you have to communicate with the parent clearly. You can't beat around the bush. You can't say, oh yeah, they're reading every day, thank you for that. No, clearly. Your child is reading on the kindergarten level. Your child is reading on the 1st grade level. They need to be here. Clearly, just say it. This is what we need to work on. Talk to that parent. Do not act like your child is doing great because they're doing their homework. Their homework, who's helping them? Because when they're in the classroom, they can't get it. Or if they can't get it, that's great. But let the parent know exactly, yes, your child is on grade level. No, your child is not. Your child needs to work on this. But it has to be, I say, informed, clear communication. Don't let a parent get away with saying, my child is reading great, because they hear them reading, but they're reading on kindergarten level. Yes, they're reading that. Let the parent know. Keep the parent informed on the progress of their students. I have had to work on that, because I have parents who their child is doing certain things in the classroom, and their parent thinking is trying to say, it's not my child, or it is my child, or my child is not this, or my child is that. You have to be exact when you're talking to the parent. Don't try to beat around the bush. Don't try to spare parents' feelings. You have to be tactful, of course, but that's a habit that we have to build. When I say build, you absolutely, Miss Olivia. Yeah, you have to be straightforward. That's the word I was looking for. You have to be, because I had a parent, I'm telling you, she's like, my child is reading. Really? Huh? Okay. No, then I have to say straight up. Sometimes the parent don't have time to meet at your conferences, but you still have to communicate with that parent. Your parent is not connected to the class dojo or the I forgot what the other thing starts with an R that some schools use. Your parent is not connected. So you have to pick up that phone sometime or grab the parent when you can and say, listen, ma'am, listen, sir, this is what we need to work on. I want your child to be ready for the next grade. You have to do it. There's no beating around the bush, being nice and nice. It doesn't get you anywhere. I mean that. Be nice and friendly, but you have to be straightforward. You have to be straightforward. It doesn't benefit that child to hide behind being nice and not want to hurt somebody's feelings. It doesn't benefit a child. Also, this is what I found too. This is where you can see I'm trying to be positive. Everything I'm saying is positive. I'm working on it because we have a communication that we have to be a habit of communicating with our administration. And that way, our habit has to be that what straightforward again. I don't know how everything has to be just on the up and up. This is what it is. The problem I have, maybe somebody out there can help me with the administration part, is because this is what I'm struggling with, because when I talk to administration about concerns, I get like I'm not well informed or something. I get back like I'm not educated enough to understand this is on a different level than what I can understand. Mind you, I'm in the classroom with the students. You understand? I'm in the classroom executing all this that you tell me to do. All this that you tell me to do, I'm in the classroom. So when we say to our administrator, maybe you thinking a different way, maybe you're not understanding, oh, that's so true, Irene. Parents sometimes they don't understand the urgency. That's what I got this last year. I can talk about that. I got that this last year where parents didn't understand my child. I don't care how many times I said it. Your child needs to read every day. They're not reading on grade level. Then here they come. How come my child's not on the honor roll? How come they didn't get I don't know. I could even give them most improved if they were improving on their reading, on their math or something. Come on now. You see the homework. Are they able to do it on their own, or are you doing it? That kind of stuff. So you have to understand, they're going to third grade. My students are going to third grade. They're going to be doing multiplication at the beginning of the school year. Very beginning. Well, are they ready? It's bad enough they might not know 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. I don't know if that's 4 threes equals 12. Then how are they going to know 4 times 3 equals 12? It's not going to work. So yeah, they need to be urgent. Your child needs to read better because they're going to have to write paragraphs. They're going to have to read. They're going to have 10 minutes to read all this. They're testing in the next grade or whatever it is. So yeah. And so let me go back to the administration. That's the same thing with what the students understanding the urgency. That's the same thing with the administration understanding the urgency. We have things with our administration who I can't even talk about because I go talk to them and it's like I'm talking on deaf ears. So I need to learn a little bit more about the communication. Do I stop communicating? No, you have to continue to communicate, but you have to let them know who you are, that you are well informed, that you understand what's happening. All of that. You are an expert in your field. I'm an expert, and I know I'm an expert. Every teacher out there who's been teaching a minute or so understands. Yeah, absolutely, Miss Olivia. Yeah, administration. Why do administrators see things differently? You cannot make that make sense to me. How are you going to give me this reading program that doesn't have reading books for the students and say, this is an excellent reading program? How? What? Then maybe the students will pass because all they have to do is listen And I check off they listened and they were able to communicate that they understood. But can they read? No, like I can't even check off they're reading on a reader level. I have to do extra. And so you can't make, I don't know who they're trying, I don't know. I don't understand. I think it has to do with money, politics, who decides we get these people who change things. So that's something that I'm working on communicating. And I communicate everybody in my, these administrators, they know who I am. And I don't, oh, I was about to say something. They know who I am because I have come to them and I, with my concerns. And it's like, one time they were saying, one lady, she was telling me, she was giving me a reason for this analysis of these testing that didn't make sense when the students didn't read on the grade level. They couldn't read. And so you wanted me to go and analyze their test scores. They couldn't read. You want me to analyze their test scores, right? Test scores that just guessed all the way through. I'm not analyzing that. I know they couldn't read it. I know they couldn't read it. I'm not analyzing that. Oh, why you want me to analyze? Because we want to see if there's no, I'm not. And then I kept pushing the lady. And then she said, well, you just have to do it because you have to do it. That was the most honest answer that I got, is that this is what you have to do. Yeah. So that's a whole, I'm not even getting anymore. So another habit that we have to form, student engagement. How we interact with our students, our teaching methods, how our teaching methods interact. There's things that we could build up for habit interacting with the students. Like just say just try to move this down. I don't have to, but just say our enthusiasm. We interacted with our students and we always have a frown on our face. We always come in there with an attitude. Or we're saying things about the administration to our students, and then we don't have any enthusiasm. We don't have any excitement. How are the kids going to get excitement? We absolutely must have excitement for our job, because students will learn better when they're excited. When I'm involved, we play different games at the beginning, after phonics, before our reading, because we go to the rug and we come together, and then we are getting to know each other, ice breaking. Even though we already did the phonics, we had to do it, and we come together and we just have these games and these interactions where I'm happy, they're happy, and we're excited. Now we can read. You're excited, they're excited, right? You have to have that excitement. Come in. I greet my students every single morning at the door. Every single morning. How are you? Good morning. Call their name. How are you? Good morning. Whatever. We get all kind of things. How they are. I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm sad. I'm not sad. We get everything at that door. I don't know if you try that. If you're a teacher, you try and you watch the things that come, and you have to build up the student right there at the door early in the morning. Like, wait, what? We just got here. Do you have a problem? I'm not so good, or I'm great. I have one little girl, she just makes my day this year. She comes in smiling every morning. Sometimes she's yawning so hard, but she's still smiling. She's excited to come to school. And I'm happy. I like seeing that. So how about that? You're excited. They get excited. You're more excited. You're happy, to do it. I have so many habits. When I say we have so many habits, we have habits that when we're working with our students, we're working in a class, we're working in the classroom, things that I don't know, how did I get rid of that? We're working in a classroom, right? And we have these habits. We have so many that we have to have throughout the day. It's like a whole job trying to remember. But once you build up these habits, it's going to be automatic. It's going to be automatic. Just like when I say class, classity, class, or however I say it, the students automatically sit in the ready position and they're answering, responding. It's call and response. That's what you call it, call and response. And then they sit the way they should sit. And then you're excited. Oh, I like how you got together so fast. I like how you did that over there, Johnny, Susie, whoever, right? They like that. I like it. We're ready. So we have man, we have so many. I have one more thing about I don't want to keep on going because I know it's allergy season. I'm sorry, people. um, one more thing is I don't know how many people I know Irene has, but hers is she teaches in Spanish. So she teaches students who are Spanish. I teach we all both teach to ELLs, right? I teach in English, she teaches in Spanish. And I think she turns it into more English at the end of the year. But the way you teach to English language learners, no matter what the language is, you have to use visual. You have to use real world ideas to the students. So that's a habit that I have been doing since I started teaching when I was teaching preschool. I spoke to students who I taught students who were I spoke to students who were what do you call it? They were English language learners. Everyone was a Spanish speaker, right? Every single one was a Spanish speaker. And I had to use their words and my words. I had to support their language. And so, how it is right now, they don't want us to do all that. But the only way I can teach an English language learner is to support their language. So, just say I have an apple and I say, these are apples in English. What do you call that? Or what do you call this thing? And they say manzana. And I say, but I say apple. So you say manzana, I say apple, right? And then you could do a project where in the project they could discuss words in English, use words in English with that project. Just say the project is talking about I don't know, I always use that crops. I don't know why, because that's one of the last things we were talking about. Or just say it's a project where we're talking about community workers, right? Just say you have younger students and you're talking about community workers, and then you could let them draw a picture of the town and all the community workers in that town. This is a project. It could be a group project with the higher English language speaker and a lower English language speaker. And then on that, they label the words in English. They may label both ways. Policia, police, right? They could do it like that. I'm not going to give any other words, any other community workers, because I might not. I'm bombero, I think. That's fireman, right? Something like that. Think I'm right, Irene. Is that right? So you can have them label in English and Spanish and then discuss it and use their language. So that is something that you can do if you teach English language learners. And that is just a habit that you get into where you support their language. That's a habit I've had for how many? Almost 20 years. About 20, yeah, almost 20 years. I had that habit because that's what I had to do. So that's just something. Yeah, yeah, I got it. I thought that. I don't want to keep on saying things that I get stuff wrong. Then I'll need the ESL lesson, right? Or the Spanish ESL language. So yeah, but at the same time, there's habits that we can have. Look, it's almost time winding up to the top of the hour. I thank everybody for commenting, for tuning in. I appreciate it. This is you don't understand what this is doing for me right now, because I'm working on some things and working on some habits. And so we need to have a habit of going to bed. I don't know what going to bed on time looks like for you, but getting sufficient sleep, right? You really have to have, excuse me, sufficient sleep. You just can't go to bed at 2 in the morning, get up 5:30 every day. You can get away with that once, twice, but not even 2 times in a week. It doesn't even work, because that you're going to need to catch up on that sleep, and nothing works except sleep. So we want to build that habit, get enough sleep, getting up early enough so that you won't have to rush to work. Get into work early enough. If I got to work early enough every day, I typically do, unless I get stuck in traffic, because we have that Route 1 traffic. It's just a lot. Sometimes it's easy sailing, sometimes not. But if I get to work 30 minutes prior to my time to sign in, I can make some copies. I could pull out some things that I need, all the materials that I need. I have time to do it and walk around, say hi to people. I have time. If I get to work at 8:30 and I only have 10 minutes, I can't do that. It takes me 10 minutes to get to my classroom. Getting to work on time, getting up early enough. Let's say it like that. Arriving early is conducive to you having a good day. And that is a habit. I don't know how many habits you want to take away. One habit is communication with your students, modeling communication, effective communication skills, uh, communication, effective communication with the parents is, I would say that is number 2. But I say number 3. First one is communication with yourself, being honest, what you can and cannot do. Can I do this? Can I execute this? Yeah. Right. See? That's true. I took a nap. You should see me yesterday. I slept the afternoon. Like afternoon. For real. I was tired because I couldn't, and that wasn't even something I don't know. I had insomnia the night before, but I was up. And so I had to get that sleep. That's what I had to do. So that is something for real. We have to communicate with the parents because our parents are our allies. These parents have to be our allies because I know people sometimes don't like teachers. They don't like the child's teacher. Why? We have bad experiences with teachers. I have bad experiences with teachers. I have good experience. I have bad experience with, I have had bad experiences with parents. So being able to communicate effectively with a parent, a student, administration, I think just let that teacher, that administrator, know where you're coming from and leave it like that sometimes, because sometimes you're not going to get through to them. They have their own objectives. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Irene, the most important person you need to communicate with is yourself. And I don't care. I know people say you talk to yourself. Yeah, I talk to myself. I had to talk to myself. How could I do this without talking to myself? This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. This is what I want to say. Let me write this down. Writing is communicating with yourself. Let me write that down. Let me outline this. You should see my outline for this. I didn't even get to it all. I know I'm never going to get to it all unless I rush through everything, but I talk a lot. So I like to talk. So that's why I'm here. No, but yeah, you have to take care of yourself, your mind, talking intelligently to yourself, speaking positive. That's number 1. You can't tell me different. That communication with yourself is more important than you communicating with anybody. You have to speak more positive, less negative. I can do this. You got this. Who's with you? I got this. You got this, right? So communicating, practicing planning, another thing. So I don't want to keep on going. Planning, communication. What else? Planning, communication, getting up early, going to bed early. If that's what you have to do, I don't know how you do it. Get enough sleep. So I don't know if we have any more. I appreciate you too. Two of my favorite people on here. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited for what's to come. Next 2 weeks, I have 2 live guests. One is Lenny Murphy. He's a substance abuse counselor. The next week is Darryl Williams Jr. He is a vice principal. He's a former teacher. He is awesome. Look him up. I don't know. I can just look up Darryl Williams Jr. if you are an educator. This man is on it, and he offers so much information for nothing. Like he's just giving you free things. And I don't understand it. I understand he wants to be of service and he wants to be of value. That's what he's getting out of it, I guess. I don't know, but he gives you so much information. So that he's going to be on here in 2 weeks. The next week, I'm not sure what's going to happen. August, it might be recordings because I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing, if I'm gonna be home. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Remember, build, even if you build one habit a day, one habit a week, one habit, two habits a month, work on one habit for 21 days, one thing for 21 days, and it'll be a habit after a while. So, again, thank you for joining me at Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham, a Educators with Oil podcast. I appreciate you. I really do. Go ahead and take that nap, Miss Olivia. You're welcome. I thank you. And I appreciate it. I really do. So with no, how they say, with uh nothing else, all minds clear. Thank you again and have a great day. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. I keep on, see how I talk? That's why I talk to myself. I'm really smart, right? Remember to like, share, and subscribe. When I say share, share with another educator. Everybody knows the teacher. Everybody knows the teacher. I don't know anybody who doesn't know an educator. It doesn't even have to be a teacher. It could be administrator. It could be support staff. Somebody, somebody who works at a school. I don't care what kind of school, preschool, elementary, middle school, high school, college. Share it. Share. And again, have a blessed day.